So one of our cohort member once mentioned all great founders are broken somewhere in their mind or somewhere in their soul. I partially agree with that because anybody who can sustain this kind of life with all the doubts and discouragement are either a psychopath or they just believe that there's some kind of delayed reward coming up later and they have the courage and determination to wait for that and take actions to make that happen. I encourage everyone to join any sort of entrepreneurial event like Antler, Entrepreneur First, Y Combinator, yada yada, because I believe that this gives you a chance to testify if you actually are as tough as you think you are. Whoever that don't give up, even if they don't get investment, they're the true founders who will enjoy this journey, who will suffer so much that they're going to succeed at some point. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this is actually the last week of Antler's official program, meaning that from next week onward, there will be no more trainings, no more visiting partner talks, but instead it will be more direct pitches to the investment committee team. Happy to share more about these details later in the future videos, but basically, since this has marked the end of the Antler program, I feel like there's something about founders that I wanted to share. There were about 85 people in this cohort when we started, and everyone joined Antler for a different reason. But I think at the core of it is about the courage of the founders to be able to believe that they can learn everything and do everything by themselves and in a team, as well as the courage to start over. A quick story from my side is that the current startup that we're building has a lot to do with SMBs, which means that we need to walk into a lot of the SMB stores, either a smaller one or bigger ones, family-owned SMBs, as well as some bigger chains, their CEO office and stuff. You could face all kind of people as a founder. Some people think you're just sales. Some people think that, hey, our manager's not here. Please come back later. Some people say, hey, I know what you're trying to do. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. That accounts for probably 20% of the people that we talk to. And the other 80%, of course, are very nice. They're willing to listen, and sometimes they're very grateful for what we're trying to bring to them. But as a founder, oftentimes you might face that 20% in the very early days of your journey, which happened to us as well. We faced some people who were very reluctant to talk to us because they think we were trying to sell them something and going to waste their time. I think at this point, what's most important, what really differentiates one founder from another is, are you gonna just back off from these conversations or are you gonna just step in, right? So one thing that we did is that we always try to nudge them a little bit more, and we ask them, hey, actually no, we're not trying to sell you anything, right? Everything is for free to use to start with, and it doesn't matter if your manager is here, we want to help you. That's how we were talking to the other 200 SMBs here in London. It will only take you 20 seconds. Let me show you right now. Here's our app. And then oftentimes they slow down and listen. People put their guards up because they think that you're trying to take money from them, or they think that you're just like one of those other sales who might just waste their time. But I think this story is interesting because that's basically what every founder would face. It doesn't matter if you're talking to SMBs or corporate users or developers, or sell something to your friends and family from day one. It's about, if you have faced quite a lot of discouragement, or if you haven't even got the chance to explain yourself and people just put up their wall and then don't want to listen to you, how much of a courage do you still have to keep move on and start over again and again and again? I think among the cohort of Antler, the majority of the people have this kind of grit and courage. In the cohort, we have a Monday pitch. Oftentimes, people receive very harsh feedback, and many of them are very healthy, critical feedback to have. But sometimes some of them are just very repetitive, and some people might just complain that this is not useful feedback. But every week, you see people got punched right in the face, and the next Monday, they show up at the same time, pitch probably a completely different thing, or rebrand their entire design, rebrand their entire product, even change their name frequently. This is the courage that we're talking about. I think in order to be a wonderful founder, of course, sometimes you have the community support, which is better, which is the point of having joined some incubation program or joined an investor program like Antler. But also, you need to, by default, have these things in your DNA. Some people just cannot be defeated. They might be discouraged in the short term, but that's not going to last for long. That's the one common thing that I see in great founders. And I really appreciate that because I think that justifies so much about what we're trying to do here. Alternatively, everybody could get a very good job, either as a C-level, some of them quit their previous job as COO, CFO, CEOs, Or we could just be a senior product manager, a principal engineer, go back to investment banking, go back to consulting, go back to FANG. But people are not doing that. People believe that they are able to learn a ton of shit that they've never done before and then spend 1 to 3 days to become an expert in it and just start using those skills that they just picked up and have the courage to face all kinds of criticisms, all kinds of doubts from people who are on the street, from people who are in other corporate, or just from people who are working right next to you. So one of our cohort member once mentioned, either in the group chat or somewhere, he said that all great founders are broken somewhere in their mind or somewhere in their soul. I partially agree with that because anybody who can sustain this kind of life with all the doubts and discouragement are either a psychopath or they just believe that there is some kind of delayed reward coming up later and they have the courage and determination to wait for that and take actions to make that happen. I encourage everyone to join any sort of entrepreneurial event like Antler, Entrepreneur First, Y Combinator, yada yada, because I believe that this gives you a chance to testify if you actually are as tough as you think you are. People talk about productivity, but true productivity comes at a stage when you have true ownership of your own work and you truly care about what your work is. In order to have that, I think it's super important to put yourself in that kind of environment where everybody else has the same level of determination or even 200% of that determination and just want to get things done. So yeah, again, this video is about the life of being a founder, the courage to learn everything and do everything, the courage to always be able to face it, move on, and start over. I hope this is going to resonate with some parts of your founder DNA. And if that clicks with you, let me know. Happy to chat more. But at the end of the day, I think it's all about figuring ourselves out. It's totally okay if you feel like that being a founder is not your thing, which a lot of people actually realize that. By this time, we only have 60-ish people left out of the 85 that we had when we started. But that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean they failed. It just means that some people figure that this is not for them, or some people figure that there's something more important in their life. But for whoever that are left, for whoever that don't give up, even if they don't get investment, they're the true founders who will enjoy this journey, who will suffer so much that they're going to succeed at some point. Thanks. Peace.